According to the National Children's Alliance, about 700,000 children were victims of abuse and neglect in 2018, the most recent year that data is available. That is a horrible statistic. Just hearing it sounds wrong. Thankfully, there are people on the front lines looking to end these horrible occurrences. Joining us now, we have current Mrs. North Dakota American, Anne Marie Studer. She's going to talk to us about her platform to help children. Welcome to the show.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. Good morning.
Before we talk about your platform specifically, I like to ask often for you guys to tell us a little bit more about your organization, Mrs. North Dakota American. Tell us about the organization and how you got involved.
Yes, so this is actually the first title that I've held. So the organization is an amazing organization for married women, and there's actually now a division for single women as well to compete in the national pageant as well as state pageants. So I got involved through a friend of mine who suggested that I get involved in this great opportunity to represent the state of North Dakota in the national pageant, which will be in Las Vegas later in January of next year. So yes, I got involved through someone who reached out to me.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your platform. What is it and how did you choose it?
Yeah, my platform is Child Help, and that's an organization that is a national organization that is for prevention and help with child abuse and neglect in our nation. So as you stated, there is some staggering statistics about what goes on with child abuse and neglect, and Child Help does prevention, intervention, and treatment for those children who are at risk of child abuse and neglect. And I chose Child Help. It was a natural choice for me as I currently work as a guardian ad litem in the state of North Dakota. And as a guardian ad litem, I work for another great organization called YouthWorks. They focus on trafficked and struggling at-risk children as well. In the Guardian Ad Litem program, I work to represent children's best interests and advocate for children in the courtroom, and that has to do with child deprivation, abuse, and neglect cases. So my heart has always been to help the children that are at risk for these situations, and it was kind of a natural choice for me to choose Child Help as they have lots of programming to help those at-risk youth.
It's easy to say, yes, I support that. Nobody wants to hear about child abuse or neglect. However, it's easy for a lot of people to turn a blind eye as well. So, what are you hoping to do to start the conversation and really make sure we make some changes?
Absolutely. One of the things that I really love about Child Help is they have a national child abuse hotline. I think there's a lot of things that people just don't understand about child abuse and neglect, how to report it and how to see when it's happening. And one thing that Child Help offers is that national hotline that anybody can call in our nation and they can get help on if this is a scenario that they need to report and kind of talk through what is needed in that scenario. So I think that is something that is really important, is just having some resources of knowing who to call, where to call, and get some information on how you can be a part of the solution.
You're already doing incredible things. That's the first step. But now with this title and this platform, do you have any events or plans to really take advantage of that in the next few months before the national competition?
Yes, yeah. So I have been doing some work with Child Help, working on a fundraiser with them. So as I was saying, the calls to the child abuse and neglect hotline are really important to have as an avenue for our country to report that child abuse and neglect. And each one of those phone calls costs $5 for the Child Help organization to facilitate. And so I've been working with them on a fundraiser of raising some money to help support those phone calls. I also will be doing more of just getting everything out there and bringing some awareness to child help, to that national hotline, and to how to help in this scenario and bring things to people who can make a difference.
What's the best way for people to follow your journey and to help out? If they're listening right now and they say, I want to help her do whatever I can too, what would be your advice?
I would say the best way would be to connect with me on social media, whether that is Facebook or Instagram. I have links going to a lot of all of this with my fundraiser as well as the Child Help page. I also have been sharing a lot on those social media pages about how to get involved with different fundraisers and drives and how to be, again, a part of that solution.
And then before we let you go, you said the competition, national competition in Vegas in January?
Yes, that's correct. So it is scheduled right now for January 22nd through 29th, and that will be at the Westgate Resort in Las Vegas, Nevada. And at that point, we will compete for the title of Mrs. American.
All right. Well, good luck. We'll follow your journey, and I think you're doing incredible things. So hopefully people sign on as well and help prevent childhood abuse and neglect. Thank you so much for visiting with us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
Stay with us. Coming up next here on North Dakota Today, gamers all over the country are going to be raising money for a good cause with Extra Life. We have one of those people involved joining us next.